She asked him what the point of anything was. She had just lost her job. Her relationship had ended 3 weeks earlier. She was sitting on the floor of her apartment at 11 in the morning, surrounded by the pieces of a life that no longer made sense. And she asked the question that human beings have been asking for as long as there have been human beings. What is the point of any of this? Most people in her life tried to answer that question. They told her things would get better. They told her everything happened for a reason. They told her she was strong and capable and that something better was waiting on the other side. They meant well. But none of it helped. Because none of it was honest. The only honest answer to that question came from a philosopher who lived in China 2,400 years ago. And most people are not ready to hear it. Zhuangzi did not believe that things happen for a reason. He did not believe that the universe was arranged to protect you or reward you or deliver you to a better place if you just suffered correctly. He believed something far more radical than that. He believed that the universe was not arranged for you at all. And that understanding this completely and honestly was not a cause for despair. It was the beginning of genuine freedom. Here is what Zhuangzi actually said. He said, "The universe is a great furnace and nature is the master craftsman. Whatever it makes, you must accept. Not tolerate. Not endure. Accept. The way water accepts the shape of whatever holds it. The way a tree accepts the direction the wind has bent it over 100 years. Not fighting the shape it has been given. Not wishing it had grown differently. Simply being fully and completely what it is." Most of us live in a state of permanent negotiation with reality. We accept the good things that happen to us without question. But the difficult things, the losses, the endings, the moments when the life we plan simply stops working, those we treat as mistakes. As errors in a system that was supposed to be looking out for us. We ask, why me? We ask, what did I do wrong? We ask, when does this get better? We ask, what is the lesson I am supposed to be learning from this? As though suffering were a classroom and we just needed to figure out the assignment. Zhuangzi would say we are asking the wrong questions entirely. Not because our pain is not real, but because the framework we are using to understand it is built on a foundation that was never true. The universe is not a classroom. It is not a story with a moral. It is not a system that rewards virtue and punishes error. It is a furnace. Vast. Indifferent. Endlessly creative. Transforming everything it touches into something else. And you are part of that transformation whether you consent to it or not. Now here is where Zhuangzi says something that stops most people completely. He says that the wise person does not resist this. Not because they are passive or defeated or without feeling. But because they understand something that most of us spend our entire lives refusing to see. That resistance to what is does not change what is. It only divides you against yourself. Marcus Aurelius arrived at the same truth from a completely different direction. He wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, and do so with all your heart." Amor fati. Love of fate. Not tolerance of fate. Not resignation to fate. Not the grim acceptance of someone who has given up. Love. The kind of love that looks at everything that has happened, everything that is happening right now, everything that will happen, and says yes. Not because it is all good, but because it is all real. And reality, Zhuangzi would say, is the only place you actually get to live. The woman sitting on the floor of her apartment was not wrong to feel what she was feeling. The grief was real. The confusion was real. The sense that the ground had disappeared beneath her was completely real. But the story she was building around it, the story that said this should not be happening, that said the universe owed her a different outcome. That said something had gone wrong in a system that was supposed to protect her, that story was causing her more suffering than the situation itself. Zhuangzi tells a story about a man named Cookding. Cookding had been cutting up oxen for 19 years with the same knife. And the blade was still as sharp as the day he first picked it up. His prince asked him how this was possible. Cook Ding said, "What I follow is the Tao, something beyond mere skill. When I first began cutting up bullocks, I saw nothing but the whole animal. After 3 years of practice, I no longer saw the animal as a whole. And now I work with my mind and not with my eye. My mind works without the control of the senses." He had stopped fighting the natural structure of things. He had learned to find the spaces that already existed and move through them. This is what Zhuangzi is pointing toward when he talks about acceptance. Not passivity. Not giving up. Not pretending that what hurts does not hurt. But learning to find the spaces in your situation that already exist. Learning to stop cutting against the grain of reality and start moving with it. The woman on the floor of her apartment eventually got up. Not because someone gave her a reason to. Not because the universe sent her a sign. Not because she figured out what the suffering was for. She got up because she stopped waiting for the situation to be different before she allowed herself to be present inside it. She got up because she understood, slowly and imperfectly, that the floor of her apartment at 11 in the morning was real. And real was the only place she actually had. Zhuangzi said something near the end of his life that I want to leave you with today. He said, "To a mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Not to a mind that has figured everything out. Not to a mind that has found the answer. To a mind that is still." Whatever you are carrying today, whatever situation you are sitting in the middle of right now, you do not have to find the reason for it. You do not have to learn the lesson. You do not have to turn it into a story that makes sense. You just have to be here. Fully. Honestly. Without the war against what is. Because this moment, exactly as it is the only place where your actual life is happening. And it is enough to simply be in it. If this found you at the right moment, share it with someone who is fighting hard against something they cannot change. You probably already know who that person is. I will see you in the next moment of stillness.